I am Captain Cassio Silva. We are here in Rockport, Texas. It's a beautiful, cloudy, rainy, windy day. So a perfect day to not be on the water. So I can show you my boat. This is a 2010 Maverick HPX Micro. Kind of a rare boat. Micro has nothing to do with the size. It's still a 17-foot boat with a 75-inch beam, which is the same as the HPX V and the HPX T of the same years. The Micro just stood for a much lighter boat. So this boat, fully rigged, is almost 500 pounds lighter than the HPX V and HPX Ts of the same year. And with it being much lighter, it gets away with running just a 40 to keep that lightweight, the fully rigged weight of this boat at just a little over 800 pounds, which with the 40 horse still runs 3 people at 30 miles an hour, which is plenty fast when you're going over a few inches of water. And speaking of a few inches of water, we are in Texas. We have a endless bay system here because of our barrier island full of very, very shallow flats. And unlike a lot of places where you can kind of pull in and pull out of flats, sometimes we got to run for a long time over some shallow water to get to some really, really great fishing spots. And so this boat has the typical Texas treatment, which is jack plate rigged up about as high as you can go, and a local prop made here by Ballman Props out of Houston, which truly transforms this boat into a really, really shallow running machine. The HPX Micro still has a small pocket tunnel, which allows that water to really get up in there. It's got some water pickup, so it lets this motor run cool, even jacked all the way up, so it can get us in and out of some really shallow places with minimal damage, without hitting bottom, without cutting up grass. But as always, we try to pull in and pull out of the shallow stuff. And that's where this lightweight boat really shines. I mean, it's, to me, that classic skiff. It's a very simple boat. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It doesn't have a lot of accessories. It doesn't have a lot of hatches. This boat is meant for shallow water fishing, for pulling skinny, for getting people into fish that have their tail sticking out and their backs out of the water, over shallow mud, shallow grass, shallow sand all around the Texas coast. And so this boat really excels in that. It's a pulling, machine, and a really easy boat to pull, where we can kind of spend all day looking for fish into some really shallow spots. Along with that, for the client experience, the boat's pretty modular, allows me to kind of do some different things for folks. A lot of people love having the stool. This is made locally here by a Captain James, and you can get it at the Fly Trap. They sell gear for your boat and all sorts of fun stuff over there. But this boat's set up to where if I have folks that need the stability, need to make sure they can stand on their feet, maybe aren't used to standing on their feet for 8 hours a day, fly fishing off of a skiff, I run the stool for those folks. I also have a raised platform for some of my serious anglers that can see really well. I can give them a higher vantage point. So I can really set this boat up for everyone from a first timer out here to a really advanced angler that, wants the full advantage of being able to see well and being able to see those fish early. Along with that, line management. I run the Superfly composite mats. These are great because it keeps the line where it needs to be, and anglers can place it wherever their stripping hand kind of sets that line too. Kind of coming around the boat, I mean, really the last thing is kind of the tool that I pretty much use every day out here on the coast when I'm pulling around, which is a stiffy push pull. And if you're not fishing with the stiffy, then what are you even doing? So the stiffy push pull is right here out of Corpus Christi, Texas, keeping it local again. I run a 24-foot pole so I can really walk and really take my time and try to be as stealthy as possible. Once again, really shallow water, keeping those fish happy. Other than that, I run a small GPS unit just to make sure in crazy weather, we're still getting home safe. A small cooler seat. This boat's set up really well for myself and one other person fishing, or myself and 2 other people fishing. And it's got plenty of room to kind of sit comfortably if you're not the person on the bow. And it's just a dream boat to be on and a dream boat to own, and kind of a dream come true, because every time I kind of picture myself and then daydream about being on a skiff, it was a boat that looked just like this. And I really like the classic look of these older Mavericks, even down to it being one of my favorite classic skiff colors, which is Fighting Lady Yellow. So Give us a call if you want to get on this boat with all water guides. We're here on the Texas coast out of Rockport, Texas, and I would love for you to take you on a ride and show you some really, really cool stuff here on the Texas coast and everything that it has to offer.